Hey guys, it's reenactment day here, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to dub your boots. You would not dub your dress boots because the finish on them, it kind of acts as a waterproofing, but these boots, when you first get them, they're gonna be more or less this color, as you see on the back of my boot. More or less this color, maybe a little lighter. They're just gonna be plain leather, no waterproofing, no water resistance to these at all. So, first off, what you're going to want to do with these boots is you're going to want to remove the laces so you can get inside the tongue of the boot. Now, I've heard of people dubbing their laces before. You can do that. I don't really do that, but would add a little bit of a protectant to your laces. Once I get all these out, now you're going to want to do these, dub these boots probably before an event, a few days before an event, so the leather has time to absorb the dubbing and it has time to pretty much become less greasy than when you first put it on. When you first put it on, it's going to be very greasy, so you're going to have give it time to soak in. Now this dubbing can be used on pretty much every leather product, including gloves and some bands or belts, or it just adds a layer of protectant to the leather, keeping it moisturized, not dry and cracking, because these boots, you're going to want these to last a while, because these boots mostly go for over $100, like $150, $300. And when you spend that much money, you're not going to want to replace your boots for a few years. So, today I'm just going to show you how to do the boots, not the gloves. But again, with the gloves, I'll give it maybe a week, a week before an event, so the grease has time to soak in, and you don't have to, and your gloves just won't be greasy. So I'm using Snow Seal. This is it's kind of just grease in there. That's all it is. It's grease. It goes on the boot. Like I said, absorbs into the leather. And this is available on at the front and on Amazon. I just got this off Amazon because it is cheaper. So I'll leave a link to that down in the description. And for this, I'm using just a rag. Now you can get a more authentic looking rag, maybe just a plain white one or a OD green one, but I got this blue one. Now I heard of people also using toothbrushes, but this works it a lot faster and a lot easier. You can still use toothbrushes to get deep into here. Now, how to do this is, when you first get them, they're going to be really white, and but first, you're going to want to heat these boots up. Now, don't put them in the oven, don't set them close to an open flame. If you set it a little bit away from an open flame, I don't see the problem with that, but you don't want these to get really dry. So I recommend using a hair dryer to warm up these boots, and I would warm up the section, then put dubbing on the section, then warm up a different section. So I will warm these boots up, and I will come back when one area is warmed up. I'm going to start with the back because that is the place that's really going to need it. Now, once you get the boot very warm on the back, you're going to want to take your rag or whatever you're using. I recommend wearing junk clothes, but I'm looking good for this, so I just rolled up my sleeves. And this shirt's already stained from a reenactment, so you're going to want to take a scoop of this dubbing and just put it on the area. Just rub it around, make sure you get all the area. Now you're going to be using a lot of dubbing for this, but you're going to want to put it on, then take another scoop, make sure to get all the spots that need it. And what you're going to want to do is focusing on these seams, as you see right here. The boot's made out of few main pieces, this back part, the two side parts, and then the front part and the tongue. Now you're going to want to make sure you get these seams real good because they are the spots that water is most likely to seep through. It's a slow process. When you first get them, you're going to have to do this like 4 or 5 times just to get the dubbing worked in and your boots waterproof. Now, it is told in boot camp that a good GI with good boots could have his boots submerged in water for about 5 minutes. So, you're going to want to have these all dubbed up because the last thing you're going to want at a reenactment are wet feet and wet boots. So, I walked out on a lake with this, a frozen lake, and it was like a layer of snow, then below a layer of slush, and then more ice. But, so the top layer of like ice kept scratching the back of my boots, wearing it off, but my boots were completely dry with that layer of slush, which was really nice. I was standing in that for actually about 10 minutes, and then my feet started to get a little wet. Not really wet, but a little wet. So that's when I went to shore and changed my boots. But completely dry, real nice. Boots work great. That is the importance of it. Now again, make sure you get those seams. They are the most important area. Also, where you want to get is in the fold of this boot right here. In that, where it connects the sole of the shoe. You want to get it in there. This is where a toothbrush would probably be helpful in getting into these tight areas. If you hear something slapping, it's the latch on my foot locker. Please ignore that. Now, once you get that on there, you're going to want to warm up another area. Again, easiest way is with a hairdryer and put dubbing on it. So I will get back to you when I have this boot completely dubbed. Now, what I forgot to mention is what heating up the leather does for the boot is it opens up the pores on the leather, making the pores bigger. This allows this dubbing to get in there and do its job, waterproofing it, sealing up those holes. Now, these are very small holes. You're not going to see them. They're in everything. But seals up those holes, makes it so your boot is very waterproof. Now, like I said, it's going to take a while. It's going to take 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times when you first dub it. You want to get it dark looking like this. And I will show you a picture of how mine looked when I first got them. Now, as you see, those were very pale. And these are more dark now. So this is how you're going to want to get them. You're going to want to get them very dark. Now, also what you're going to want to do before is probably just rinse off your boot. Make sure there's no dirt or anything on there. These are pretty clean right now. As clean as they're going to get. So, that's why you're not going to want to mix any dirt in there or anything. That's just, make your boots seal up better. Now, again, you got to get these seams very good. You're going to want to pull a lot on those seams. Now, also the thing is you're not going to want to overdub your boot. So, once you get that on, now what you're going to want to do again, take your hairdryer, and you're going to want to heat up the area that you just dubbed. And make sure you get the boot all nice and dubbed. Then again, on the front, you're going to want to heat it up, put dubbing on it, and then heat up the dubbing. Alright, now as you see, I peeled this back and got all in there with the heat, and got all in there with the just to make warm it up, get the pores. Now you're gonna want to get more dubbing and just do exactly what you've been doing throughout the entire boot. Making sure all the important areas, like all the seams up here by the holes, over here by on the tongue, especially this little stitching of area right here on the tongue, in between the sole and the boot, all of the important areas that your boot needs. Now, it helps to do this again before reenactment. Again, this stitching right here by the tongue. Get a lot on there, because that's a vulnerable area where the tongue is. Then you want to get the tongue as well. Get that very good. Now while you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't get in many chunks. Like as you see kind of here, there's a few chunks. Gonna kind of rub that in, make so there's not many chunks. Now, it's not necessary to get the inside of your boot, because this is already kind of finished on the inside, and the water's not going to come from the inside out, it's going to come from the outside in. So, you're going to want to get that, make sure my sleeve's not rolling down here. Not be too nice. But, there we go. That front area's all dubbed up. Take your hairdryer and you melt it. You melt the dubbing, not the leather. How you can tell the dubbing has melted and has gotten pretty much to a liquid state is, as you can tell, it's very shiny. It's easier to tell when you're in person, but it becomes shiny and easier to see where there's a lot of it. So more dubbing. These boots, it was just that one main area on the back, so I'm going to hit that again. That needed it because of the ice scraping off the dubbing. Hit that again. Main area. There we go. And then you're going to want to do one go around of the boot, getting everything all melted and getting all the dubbing melted and getting it pores opened up. Now what's nice about the American boots compared to pretty much every other country is we had the great idea to put rubber on the bottom of our shoes. Every other country pretty much had leather with hobnails on it. We figured this worked on cars, why wouldn't they work on boots? So we put them on the boots, and that's why we don't need to dub the bottom of the boots. Now once you get it all heated up, you're just going to want to take this is when you're all done with the boot. When you're beginning, leave it on, let it soak in. You're going to want to let it soak in for a few minutes, and while you're doing that, work on your other boot. Now, once you've let your boot soak in, or the dubbing soak in for a bit, you're going to want to heat it back up, just slightly. You don't need to do it too much, you just got to do it a little bit. Once it's on, because you don't want to overdub your boots, you're going to want to just kind of wipe off the extra. Not hard, just kind of get a very light wipe. Just because overdubbing the boot isn't too good for it. When it dries, you're not going to want to see any white bits or anything. So, just slight wipe. This is also when you might find a little bit of other areas that need dubbing. So, that's when you can also go around and touch up some areas. Now, like I said before, this is a last step that you gotta do. If you have brand new boots, you're gonna do this. You're gonna dub them 6 to 7 times, something around that or something around that number, and then this would be your last step. Not on all of them, just when you're done dubbing the boots. If you hear noises outside, sorry about that. That's probably my neighbor plowing his driveway. There we go. So, this looks so good. Now what you can do is dubbing might get stuck in these holes. You can either use a Q-tip to get them out, or you can just ignore it and put your laces in there. Would add a bit of protection to the laces, but that's up to you. Now, when it comes to dubbing your boot, it's better to be safe than sorry. So put a lot of coats on it, and when you get it dubbed, when you get it all dubbed for the first time, you're only going to need to put 1 or 2 coats on it at a time, after reenactments or before reenactments or whenever. It's just that initial first stage that you gotta dub. Now, again, like I said at the beginning, another tip is to, when you're dubbing gloves or your boots, mostly the gloves, do it before, a few days to a week before the reenactment, or before the event, so your gloves and boots have time to absorb the leather, or absorb the dubbing, and make it so it's not sticky or greasy whenever you try and pick up something with your glove. And if you want to try dubbing your laces, be my guest. Sure, there's nothing wrong with it. Probably make the laces last a bit longer. But that's pretty much it with dubbing your boots. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, like and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have any video ideas, put them down in the comments. I will see if I can do them. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later.